Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the RantCast Podcast. I am your host for tonight. Kurgan is currently out. He is too dang tired, he says. Nah, he's not feeling too well. He is under the weather. So I will be taking over tonight. Just me. It is currently 8 o'clock p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, my friends. And welcome to the RantCast. Hope everybody's having a great day. My name is Josh. I'm also known as the StrangeBus. You can find me at twitch.tv/StrangeBus. That's twitch.tv/StrangeBus. I would also be joined by the host of this show. Now currently that would be Kurgan, aka heroquest fans. If you are interested in his content, you can find him at twitch.tv/heroquestfans. That's twitch.tv/heroquestfans. Got a good show here for you tonight. We have a couple topics. It's actually probably going to be a little bit of a shorter rantcast here tonight, since it is just me. We're going to be talking a little bit about Star Wars like we usually do. I'm going to be pulling up my experience with Hasbro, my former experience with Hasbro, and natural Star Wars bullshit that's been coming up. What to do, what not to do. And then doing our community topic, following any community questions that are coming up here in our previous rantcasts up to now. So if you got anything that you want to shoot forward, any topics you want to bring forward to this rantcast, go ahead and shoot, because we got tons of answers for you. Anything that's been brought up in the last couple weeks, really. So it's gonna be fun. We keep it fresh. But yes, I'm gonna say the same thing I've said before. I hope everybody's had a great night. I hope you've been taking care of yourselves and each other. And without further ado, let's get right into it, because that's what I'm about right now. So going forward here, we are going to be talking about our first topic, which is Jedi Survivor. Man, do I have a lot to say about this game. Just in general. It's just been a crazy, week and a half since that game came out. Was it the 28th? Go ahead and pull up. Sorry, I do have a little bit of a cold. I am getting sick again for some reason. But I'm going to reference Digital Foundry, because they are a really good website. They release videos on YouTube that kind of give off benchmarks, small reviews on games and hardware, and kind of just entertainment of the like. So, and they're not like your average. They've been around for quite a while. So, this was the big topic here. Just to reference Star Wars and EA. We're kind of going into that big thing here. That Star Wars, the Jedi Survivor PC review, is the worst AAA PC port of 2023 so far. So this is it. This is my last actual just rant on this game, and I'm done. For anybody that didn't know, I played this game on PC. And ran into everything they were talking about here. So we'll kind of open up the link here, and I'll put that in the chat if we need to. But just the simplicity of it is played with shader compilation stutter, traversal stutter, nonsensical CPU limitations, an impenetrable settings menu with little utility, a terrible FSR2 implementation, no DLSS or XESS. Virtually everything that could go wrong with the PC port is present and correct in this awful release. The tragedy that is the game looks great, but the quality of the code here is unacceptable. And the reason I reference them is because I couldn't have put it better myself. Now, I don't want to just pull up their video. I want people to actually go there and take a look at it. It's really easy. You just YouTube that video. They'll pretty much give a really good breakdown on this. But I'm going to give my simplistic kind of like review of that game, what I thought about it, and literally why I've kind of learned my lesson with AAA titles in general. But most importantly, EA. Doesn't matter what company works for EA. EA is the publisher, and EA is dog shit. So, and I hate to say that, but it's true. Lightning doesn't strike twice with EA ever. We had our issues with Battlefront 2 and Battlefront with them. And then they were talking about this awesome new like Star Wars game they were planning on releasing, and everybody dreaded it. They were talking about like, look, don't ever don't have high expectations for this game. Don't do anything. Everybody's like bar was like set really low. And then EA and Respawn were like, hey, look, it's going to be a single player only experience. There's no microtransactions. There's no nothing. November 2019 rolls around. We play it, and oh my gosh, it's actually a game. It's not some sort of fucking bullshit service that they released. And I'm like, wow. Can't believe they did that. For me, I was like, well, this is just one big ham-fisted apology, but it's a good game. It did come out with some issues, but it like when people talked about it, they actually talked about the game. Now, granted, we had COVID the following year, and we had some issues going forward, but now we are hopping into the release of Jedi Survivor, and there are just so many things wrong on every level, not just from performance, but from the apology. What I would say, I'm not even going to say apology, from the response that the Jedi team released to the patch they released the day of. Which, if they have a day one patch and then a patch following that day one patch, that they already knew the game was in trouble. There was shit wrong. Reviews of Jedi Survivor that were coming out prior to this, people were saying, "Oh, it's it's got some issues. There's some stuttering, but it doesn't plague the game." And that you've got IGN. There was IGN reviews that were saying, "Oh, it's a great game. It's got its issues, but it's still a great game. Nothing plagues it at all." And they're EA's handing their money to people, saying, "Hey, make sure you give it a good review." But and you keep in mind, it's games journalism there. But at the end of the day, my biggest issue was the response from Respawn and the Jedi team, and the fact that we're almost what's the date now? We're at the 12th, and we haven't gotten anything at all, which I guess could be good or bad. There have been some really big like Let's Players and people who have finished this title and had little to no issues. My favorite was because I follow Star Wars Theory kind of not religiously or anything. I just check in to see what he's doing every now and then. But he was like, I feel bad for the people who are having problems, but I don't seem to have these issues too often. And the guy has like a $5,000-$6,000 rig, and it makes me laugh because I don't know about anybody else, but not everybody has a rig that has like literally the latest almost grand, like a $1,000 CPU, Intel CPU, 20 gigs of RAM, a 4090, one of the top tier 4090s, and enough hard drive space to fucking gawk at. So a lot of people are missing at least one or multiple of those factors, and they're outdated in some form of the word. And understandably, to look at the devs on this part, porting a game on multiple forms of hardware, OSs, it's not easy, but we've been doing it for years. I really think that once again, this was another topic of time. This is kind of one of those things where they were given time to make the game the way they wanted to, and then when they were asked time to polish it, they were told just to fucking let it go, and they would handle it. So, because this is almost not a gold standard release. Like, I feel like somebody was paid under the table or something to release this, and then they were given promises of, well, the day one patch that we release will fix these issues. This isn't going to get headlined too bad. If it does, people nowadays buy games anyway broken, and then they're the testers of their own video games. Like, a lot of corporate execs like to sell their games like that. They'll say, "Don't worry, the people will test it." And I'm guilty of this. So, going forward, for people who are looking at newer games, newer AAA games that have had this trend from big companies, Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, and we're gonna get into Redfall too. That's another company that had a developer that had a really good run, and you're gonna have a poopy game every now and then, but just really bad run. And these games are now $10 more. They were giving us the excuse that games are expensive to make, and they're costly, they're timely, they take forever. And now we're at we're at the point to where we're shelling out $70 more in other countries, and even more for the collector's editions. We're getting less in return, and not only getting less, but we're now getting bullshit quality. From what I've seen in other podcasts and from reports of other people, sales have actually dipped in certain areas due to the price increase of video games. Because nobody wants to pay $70 to $100 for one title. No matter how big or long the game is, nobody wants to do that. And there's only so much that people acclimate to or people adjust to. And it's a disaster. So I think this is a great headliner here. Not counting Redfall, which, literally, I would say we have another Cyberpunk issue on our hands, and I'm really afraid that Cyberpunk kind of paved the way for, or helped. Maybe it wasn't the leader, but kind of helped pave the way for, hey, we released shit at first, really, really broken shit. And there's nobody to vet this before release, or if there is somebody to vet this before release, we're able to bypass it. There are companies or people rich enough to bypass it, and now we are just releasing garbage at first and giving people promises when they're past their refund time or they're demanding a refund. Don't worry, we hear you now. We see the issues. We'll just, we'll fix it. We'll fix it now. Because it's beneficial for us to release broken and then just fix it within the course of 4 years with a skeleton crew. It took Battlefront 2 3 years after release to be at least somewhat decent. And even then, I still think the original one stands strong above that. But at least it's something that it should have reflected during release. And, they still try to sell it. And the multiplayer in that game is now horrible and toxic. I don't even think it's still going anymore. But last time I played it, it was awful. But that's why I always recommend the older one. The 2005 version is still a great game to play. It's still got an active online community you can play with. It's got mods up the wazoo on multiple sites. So there's stuff that you can play no matter what. But we get these games now that have a modding community that just die because we're just releasing garbage. And it really looks like the devs did try to put something in here that was enjoyable, and this game was enjoyable. My experience, and the reason I'm a little biased here, because the reason my my issue with this game is so bad is the fact that um, I played this game. I benchmarked it. I spent about a good 40 hours like in this game. Um, didn't even get a chance to fully enjoy it because I had to debug some sections of this game in order to get like through parts of it. Could do the crashing or the stuttering. I had to lower the difficulty because the FPS would like dip in certain parts of like boss fights or certain monsters, which would make it increasingly hard. And I mean, I probably just could have kept fighting, but like I would get super impatient. So that's on me. But another big thing is I pretty much got to the end of the game. A lot of people probably already know this, but pretty much almost got to the end of the game and got soft locked out of the ending. So I got through like this as soon as the game turned around. I was about to just forget everything. I was like, "Oh man, this game's actually looking pretty good." I mean, it's predictable. The plot is kind of predictable, but got to this point in the game where it was super good. Went to go up this elevator and just got soft locked. Couldn't get through the door, no matter what I did. And I used debug and it ended up borking my save so bad that because the game also has corrupted save issues. So it's at the point where I really just have to restart. And I tried that day just to restart, but I was like, dude, I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to put another 40 hours in this game just for it to break again. I just don't. And they already have my money. There's nothing I can do or say. And at this point, um, I'm done. I know that I'm just one guy out of like probably thousands or millions of people who probably buy EA games, but I'm literally done with EA. I have to cross another publisher off my list. At this point, I'm about to just say fuck new games and just play the old games I have. And just to be, I'm gonna be that type of streamer, you know. So, um, just at this point, that's where I'm at with this. Is like just fuck any new games that are coming out, no matter how much they hype them, because they're bullshit. Um, and I'll wait on them till they're like either super on sale, like I did with a lot of Ubisoft games, like the Assassin's Creed games. Because if they're dog shit, at least they were just $5. And like, well, I'm just now buying like a couple Call of Duty games that I was mildly interested in at one point in time, like because they're like 10, but they were $10, and they never go on sale, or at least I never catch them go on sale. Never. What was it, like the original like Call of Duty games are still like at least $40. I will never fucking buy them at that price ever. But like it's like one of those things where like I don't buy AAA garbage anymore, and I just might do that now. Shadows of Doubt released, um, and is a much better game to invest your time in. There was another big game that released that I played. I went back to Arma 3 and modded that, and it's even though that was quite difficult, it was still fun to play. Um, what else? I mean, there's a long list again. Like you could just go back and play Jedi Outcast and like all the older LucasArts games and just enjoy those. And like I said, at this point, the newer publishers could release games like that, and I still wouldn't want to play them anymore. I'm like past that point because like they do something to try to like super modernize them, or they cookie cutter them, and it would just I'm at the point where I'm not there's nothing that could please me with them anymore. I just dislike them. I dislike them that much. So, um, and that's what I was saying is like, uh, we rely on publishers way too much because they have money, and we rely on the big guys a lot because we think they make really good content. And sometimes they do, but at the end of the day, they just don't. I feel like they don't do enough to warrant this sort of garbage. So, um, if you're able to get through this game and play it, great. I'd still say if the game isn't fully completed and it has these sort of issues, whether you had a problem or not, it's still not warranted the problems. This also had multiple issues on on both or on all three systems. On PC, you got it on Xbox and PS5. So, Digital Foundry did multiple looks on Jedi Survivor. We took a look at, they said PC. For PC, the PS5 version also had frame rate issues. They took a look at the resolution and performance modes. But they're hoping that Respawn isn't finished on improving performance. So, I don't know. At this point, it's one of those things where no matter what you buy this game on, you're gonna have issues. And there's also save state corruption in the Xbox version. I don't know about the PS5 version. So I'd say if you're going to buy this at all, if you don't want to listen to my advice, I would recommend the PS5 version, I guess. But yeah. I'd say Capcom right now is probably the only publisher and or developer that I've seen lately that has been shelling out decent games because their engine is pretty good. They take the time necessary that they believe is needed, at least from what I've known. And even if they do have to rush out a game, at least it's not broken as fuck. From what I know, I could be wrong there, but even with Resident Evil 3, not a lot of people liked it as much as 2, but it wasn't this. It wasn't like an unoptimized shit fest. So every time I got into enjoying this game, it would turn around and just dump all over itself. So that's kind of my final opinion on it. I got to rant out my my issue with this game, and that was kind of my thing on Jedi Survivor. But I would like to hear people's input. If you've got, like I said, if you're watching the VOD or you're taking a look here on the stream and you want to know more, if you'd like to give out your input, like I said, you've played the game. If you've played the game and you would like to give out your input on how it was for you, let me know. It's because performance has been different on multiple machines on multiple systems. It's kind of one of those things where I'm not going to hate on somebody for having a different experience. So next we have on the list here, let me take a good hard look. We've got experience with Hasbro. I'm not exactly the HeroQuest Power Hour guy, but kind of switching subjects here to kind of give viewers kind of an experience with kind of how I felt with Hasbro. Of course, how I feel with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro right now. I've kind of had a negative sort of impact with me at the moment. However, I cannot say that I am fully outed on them because my kids are invested, so they kind of got me by the short and curlies. Hasbro is a company that is invested in just about everything as far as toys, board games, down to Jenga, my friends. So if you're playing like a family board game, let me pull something out here real quick and see if I can pull up their site here real quick. I can kind of give a more detailed view. So everything from Nerf, My Little Pony, Transformers, Dungeons and Dragons, Play-Doh, Monopoly, Baby Alive, For Real Friends, Peppa Pig toys, G.I. Joe, you name it, they have their fucking name all over it. And it's kind of one of those things. They even own they do Star Wars toys. I know that. So it's kind of one of those things where if you got kids, you're gonna be into just about Hasbro anything. I personally won't be invested in anything for me anymore for a while. But the whole reason I brought this up was it's kind of a hard topic because along with the Star Wars topic, here we are talking about companies that can fuck up whenever they want and go, well, if you aren't going to buy, we can get your kids, or we can get the young community. And I feel like it's the same thing with Star Wars. You know, the older you get, the less I feel like you have a voice, especially towards certain products, because they just think you're the grumpy person that's hesitant to change. And you know, moving forward with that, I feel like a lot of companies, you know, they naturally gun for the younger generation anyway, but I feel like something needs to be done with that. You know, like voting with, like, that's why I push people to vote with their wallet, because it's enough people vote with their wallet, enough people in a demographic vote with their wallet, and they instead of just saying, well, I got angry, now I'm not angry anymore, or go and buy the next thing, whatever, they will be able to actually make an impact. I mean, you don't have to absolutely hate the company, but you can say, hey, look, I'm not buying shit from you guys anymore for at least another year. So that's a year's worth of product lost. And with a company like, you know, like you said, a company like Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast, that's an impact for them, because they pump out a lot of fucking product. But for people, are they going to punish their kids for their own opinions? No. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm kind of giving a different perspective, because I feel like that's where the change kind of needs to happen. And I remember, like, I don't know, it could just be me when I was growing up, when things were kind of different, that things were a little bit more enjoyable from that company, but I don't know. And like I said, I'm very inexperienced, because I don't know if it's just Wizards of the Coast that was fucking up all the time, but I still put the blame on, the blame goes with all the companies affiliated with that product. So like I said, with Jedi Survivor, it was Respawn and EA. I'm not just pointing the finger at EA. A lot of people say, don't blame the devs. Well, at this point, yeah, you do. We're at the second game. They're the ones who released the statement. Regardless of whether it was EA who told them to, they had the choice to say no. Granted, it might have been at the cost of their jobs. But, you know, Hasbro being the parent company, it's rough, but they get the blame. Yes, and like I said, it's one of those things where I put them at the top for responsibility, right? But once again, we can't, at least, and like I said, and this is just in my opinion, I cannot keep buying a product just because the other two people below them would suffer because of it. And that's the reason, because if we did that, then they're just holding them hostage. You know, like I said, it's one of those things where, like, EA does that all the time, and that's, like I said, this is why I did this whole example. EA eats companies up, like, one after another. I can't remember the devs who made Dead Space. Let me see, but they're a great example. So, give me 1 second. I just having a brain fart right here. Visceral Games. I stopped buying for Wizards of the Coast, but still buying. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think it's because doesn't Wizards of the Coast handle a lot of certain Hasbro products, but they don't handle, like, all the extra crap. Like I said, like, Hasbro makes a lot of stuff like Star Wars, My Little Pony, and whatnot. So I guess you could still buy Hasbro products if you didn't want to buy stuff from Wizards of the Coast, I guess. But it's another thing that I was talking about here was Visceral Games is the people that made Dead Space. They made 3 Dead Space games. The first 2 were good, in my opinion. The third one was crap. And it was because EA kind of fiddled with them a little bit. They stuck their hand in a little bit too much. They wanted microtransactions. People hated it. Well, EA also had a goal for them to meet a certain amount of copies, and they didn't meet them. Therefore, they were shut down. If we kind of use that same mentality, people would just be buying video games so they wouldn't lose the developer. And I feel like we shouldn't just buy video games or buy content or stuff because we don't want people to lose their jobs. Although that makes me sound like a complete asshole. So, because at that point, we're giving the top brass power and saying, hey, look, you could buy our shitty product, but if you don't, we'll just shut down the company and restart. So, and that's what kind of makes me sound like really bad. But no, I used to work at a bank. My department that I started at was non-revenue generating. So, there were times when we had too many people. There were times when we didn't have enough, and it was kind of up to whoever, on whether we had people or not. But in their sort of situation, their company is held by statistics and numbers. So, if nobody's going to be interested in buying the product, they're going to get shut down. As far as Hasbro's concerned, I think it might be the same thing with HeroQuest, Wizards of the Coast, Avalon Hill, because you still buy Avalon Hill. It's one of those things where I feel like if nobody buys enough from them, eventually it'll get to the point where they may not be a thing anymore. But I don't know. That could just be, that, like I said, that's speculation. So, also, going into this whole thing, a lot of people besides Disney own the Star Wars IP, or they make stuff from Star Wars. Like, there are 3 different types, or at least 2 from what I'm seeing, two types of Star Wars Monopoly. There is a Disney Star Wars Dark Side edition of Monopoly, and there is a Boba Fett edition. Why? Like, come on, man. There's a Fortnite edition of Monopoly too. Like, come on. Do they make money off this? Like, this many editions of Monopoly? That's amazing. They have like 3 different types of Clue. Like I said, I have not seen or been around this site in a long time, and it is jaw-dropping the amount of board games they still make. Because I thought board games were kind of like they're not a thing of the past, but I thought they would be less, and instead they have drastically expanded. Wizards of the Coast brand is MTG and D&D. Avalon Hill brand is board games. Also license out IPs that they use. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is crazy. But the reason I brought up this topic was my kids have Jenga. They were bought Jenga for like the last year, and the Hasbro logo is all over that. So I was like, I can't say fuck Hasbro because my kids buy Nerf guns and shit. Yeah, Hasbro's one of those things. As long as kids buy toys and board games and dolls and Fortnite Nerf guns, they will always be in business. But man, they have a lot of random shit. Also, the HeroQuest box went up. It looks like it's $134 on the Hasbro site. What the hell? Lord. Parker Brothers, Milton Bradley. Yeah, so they're pretty much like a monopoly almost. What keeps them from having competition then at this point? Like what keeps them from having Mattel? Yeah, I don't know, because it looks like they make all this shit. Like anything my kids would touch at the store is made by Hasbro at this point. Like, you don't want your kids to have a childhood? Then you don't have to buy Hasbro, because like I said, my kids have Nerf guns, so good lord. Man. Yeah, see, I didn't know the amount of shit they had or owned at this point. It's crazy. It's $50 for one of these. Oh, man. So yeah, so this is just kind of what I've been talking about, right? It's like, it's one of those things where like they have enough money. I feel like this is crazy. Ugh. We're at like our 6th Monopoly. That's the Monopoly pizza game. I choose Barbie, Hasbro, or Disney. That's pretty much it. Which I don't know why Disney even still licenses out to Hasbro for their games. That's the game that they have. They have the Jenga game. Because Disney has enough money to sell their toys in their store. And they sell their products at Disney World. So I don't understand why they would still do that. Why they still partner with Hasbro for their toys. I guess because Hasbro's a really big toy like market, and they probably make the toys really well, I guess, for an effective cost. I'm not. Oh, they even have a Karl Casey toy. Look at that. Comes with a little BD action figure. You had to get all the way down here, though. Oh, is this the Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian? It is, complete with CG face. Or CGI face. $278 for one of these. You gotta be nuts. The buy, sell, trade, brands and or licenses, yeah. I don't know, they've had Star Wars for quite a while though. Like, I remember, like, yeah, I think even the toys I bought as a kid were Hasbro, so. There's a Mara Jade. It's interesting. Yeah, this is nuts. Anyway. Yeah, but that's kind of my point. My whole point here is that, like, it's a very big company. Very big. McDonald's level big. Kenner. Oh, Kenner, hold on. Kenner, huh? Do they have a website? Because, like, all these look like old school. Man, I used to have this Falcon. Now we're just taking a trip down memory lane. Oh, boy. Thought they did Star Wars. Yeah, they did Star Wars back in the day, I thought. Yeah, if you want to relive your old school days, you could buy this for almost $500. And obviously this has been outside of the box. I remember I first got this, I lost the hatch. I could not get this on. So that was gone almost immediately. But I loved this toy so much. I used it all the time. Man. And that's how you know it's not new, because that's the color it looked like. It was like white. And when you got it, it just yellowed over time. Like so bad. Oh, so bad. I remember playing with it at my friend's house. Yeah, dude. I had one of these. Oh, I think these were like $30 or something back in the day. But like, oh, dude. I had this in an X-Wing, but I think I had these. At least I think I did. Saga toys, yeah. Well, now we're just taking a trip. Like I said, now we're just taking a trip down memory lane. Yeah, I had a lot of the old ones. The old X-Wing toys. Yeah, I think Kenner did. Yeah, Kenner did the Power of the Force toys. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe I had the Kenner toys. They did a lot of the stuff from the 90s. I don't even think they're a toy, but are they figure carrying case? Yeah, dude. C-3PO carrying case. Oh, do they even still have that? No, we gotta Google it. That's Amazon. Come on. I think it was this one that I had. Yeah, this is the one I had. Because mine wasn't shiny or anything. It was just dull. Like, R2-D2, where are you? Goodbye. Or oh my, or something like that. It would like, you just press that little button and it would give you like 4 responses. And there was one that was, I think they had a Vader one and a C-3PO one or something like that. Oh man. I miss these things. It's pretty good. The Vader helmet. Was that another one? They had a Vader? Yeah, they had a Vader one, right? Yep. And you could label them and stuff. Oh, man. Yeah, I knew somebody who had this one. Yeah, I had the C-3PO one, though. Oh, I bet you this thing's like $1 bagillion. $350. Oh man, that's the one I had. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, they want $350. Luke Skywalker. That's not Luke. That's not Han. Get all these characters in the wrong slot. Bro, and I even see some of those toys down here. You couldn't even be bothered. Oh, some of these are like upside down. That's pretty funny. You got your Dash Rendar in there? You got IG-88. Nope, no Dash Rendar. Alright. X-Wing. Boy, 1990s. I remember, yeah, I had this one too. This was another one I had. Oh man. $190. I broke the latch and the hinge at one point. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, I don't think I broke mine. I think I just lost. I had to move, and I left a lot of toys behind. It was sad. Yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah, this is the one I had. Put your R2 in there. And your Luke figurine in there. Ugh, dude. Good stuff. Oh, okay. We're going back. Get out of here. Or something similar to this. But yeah, they were Kenner toys. Oh. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, because I had the Millennium Falcon, I had the X-Wing. Yeah, I had a bunch of them at one point. And I think I lost the guns for at one point in time. Yeah, it looked like this. This is what it looked like for me at one point. Just eventually it was just so broken. Yeah, this is the one I had, because it had the R2 in the middle. You push it in the middle and the S-foils would come up. That's $30 for it. Nah, bro. And that's how a lot of these like looked, because kids lost the guns on them and the top hatch, so they were just busted all the time. Dude, toys are so much better looking now than they were back then. It's crazy. Alright, I think lastly, we're just gonna kinda, like I said, this would be kinda a slower, or kind of, shorter RantCast, but, kinda moving back into, like I said, with Star Wars stuff. I think personally, I don't know about anybody else, but like I said, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna vote with my wallet. I'm kind of like done with the overhyped nonsense. I'm gonna be like kind of done with like newer ish products. I'm still going to be watching some of like the newer stuff, or kind of getting involved, but Star Wars for me has kind of lost its edge. Like, I'm not like gonna be that guy who's like, oh, I want to show my kids all this stuff and do all that stuff, because it's just kind of turning into like mainstream nothing for me. And a lot of big companies are kind of just running it down and watering it out. So for me, it's kind of one of those things where I don't really want much to do with it anymore. Like, I'm not as heavily invested. And I've got the content I want to use with it. I got the things I want to buy and I want to get invested. As far as HeroQuest goes, I've got the things I want to use for HeroQuest. I've got the things I want to use for D&D. To all the young people out there, pick a section of entertainment and invest in it. Because you're going to have a lot of life to go through. And there's going to be a lot of things out there. And everybody's going to want a piece of your time, a piece of your money, and it's a sad but true, like reality. And I would, man, this thing I wish Kurgan was here for, because like he said, he kind of fuels that fire. And with me being sick, it's kind of harder to kind of get like flamed up for this sort of thing. But I am not as heavily invested in anything mainly anymore, just for the fact that everybody puts just 50% into everything they find time for. Even mods, like I said, like I was doing Arma 3 mods for Star Wars, and like I said, game developers and bigger companies update their stuff frequently so that they can put DLC in it and have you buy more. Well, that makes modders lose interest in modding their games. Because their mods break and they're like, well, I'm not doing it anymore. And I can't hate on them for it, but at the same time, there used to be a time when people had passion projects. There was passion projects, and there was people who knew where their limits were, and they'd make good mods. We live in an era where people donate money to you for your work. Like back then, it was like people would like put it out there, like, yeah, you can like, you know, give me a cup of coffee, but it wasn't almost fucking requested. And I'm gonna put it out there, it's fucking requested now. It's not required, but it's requested. And people are now becoming more and more greedy about that, to the point to where it's annoying as fuck. A mod for a game is your spin on something that's already been done. So if somebody makes their creative vision, you are taking their creative vision and altering it with your work, which kind of helps you get into your own, into like maybe a company where you can put your own creative vision on something. But I believe in the fact that mods are done by the community to increase the value of a title you already have. I'm not going to pay you continuous amounts of money for something that isn't really DLC, isn't really something big. I may donate a cup of coffee, like the price of a cup of coffee or something, but I'm not going to continually donate to something like that. And a lot of people do ask for it. So I don't mind, but that's not what I'm here for as far as the modding community goes. I used to do mods, and I didn't ask people for cash for them, because that was my own time. I knew I was giving for that. My time, regardless of what other people think, my time isn't worth 50 cents like a minute to people. My time is for me. My time is worth for me. You know, if my time was worth money, I'd be charging my kids and my family to live on it, and I don't. So, you know, as far as that goes, I ask people to get off their fucking high horse and either commit to making a mod or don't make it at all. And if it becomes exhausting, don't be ambitious about it. Just say, hey, I'm making something. It may or may not come out. Because some people get really fucking ambitious about their mods, and they're like, hey, look, I got this huge ass mod I'm making for Arma 3. It's gonna have all these ships and all these people and all this stuff. And then 3 or 4 months go by, and people are like, hey, you got an update on your mod? Or hey, your mod's broken. You released it, but it's got broken shit. And they're like, well, I'm not gonna tell you how to fix it. Okay, well then why did you release it in the first place? Like, just like with anything else, people need help. They need direction. And, like, not everybody's going to be nice with you about it, but you can at least help the people who are nice with you. And that's, like, been my biggest thing about mods, too. But, like, I guess that's a topic that I've been focused on. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be focused on Star Wars, but, like, what I'm saying is, like, this attitude of bullshit is going everywhere. It's not just high, up in the, like, the high ground. It's in the lower areas, too. Down to people who are just making community-based fan content, and that's the stuff I support more than I do the bigger stuff. So, and this might just be delirium from the sickness, but like I said, I feel like if you're gonna make a fan project, devote the time that you think you need for it, and the resources you think you need for it, and if you're a team of people, count on yourself to handle the work, and know that sometimes maybe the people around you are going to have personal life pop up. Like, so once again, make sure it's a you thing and not a us thing, or, you know, don't be greedy about it. Don't take control of the project, but like once again, people are going to drop from your project. People are going to be part of your project, you know, or if you're alone, it's going to be one of those things where you're not going to have you're just not going to have like a full crew, or you may not have time devoted to it all the time. But that's the biggest thing I've seen in the community, is I've seen more big mods fall and die than I have ever seen in the last 10 years. Or I've seen people who release it and they're half baked. Star Wars Opposition was one of the biggest ones, and that was a Star Wars mod for Armor 3. I've tried downloading it many times and it's half broken. It also doesn't give you install instructions, and the people who respond to it say, hey, it's not our problem. Cool. So you willingly made a fan-based mod, gave no people help on how to put it together, and then to kind of finalize on it, you don't update it, you don't do anything else, and you don't give people tips on how to make it work when Arma updates. So pretty much you just made a mod for yourself, because nobody's gonna know how to fucking use it. So you just wasted your time. Cool. Anyway, that's a little personal, because I was using that mod earlier today and I was like, what the fuck is this? Why is it all broken? Because I thought it was me, but I installed it 2 different ways, didn't work, and I'm thinking it's because Arma updated around the time. It's an older mod, so but they didn't release any patch notes. They didn't release anything updating saying, okay, look, this may not work because Arma's updated. They didn't say it was dead. Nothing. It's just up there, and half the maps are broken. Nothing fucking works. So, but anyway, that's it for me tonight. I do have a community-based thing. If somebody wants to join and be part of the community-based topics, if you have your own thing right here, you can join via the Bus Discord. Send me a personal message. But this has been kind of a small crew tonight, so if you do want to join for the RantCast on a community-based topic, because we do that every RantCast. If you want to be a guest or want to do something to join us, you can let me know in the chat. You can let Kurgan know on the HeroQuest fans Discord. You can let me know here at the Bus Discord at any point in time, and we'll see if we can fill you a slot in here. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go ahead and finalize the stream tonight. So I'll be right back. Don't go away. Thanks for waiting. Sorry I had to use the restroom, grab more of my drink, and I'll settle my kids down here for a minute. Okay, so trying to finalize on the stream here. So we don't have any community topics popping in tonight, which is okay. We're gonna go ahead and just finalize the stream on this. Kind of the moral of the 3 points I put in for the short rantcast tonight is the fact that a lot of companies here today are kind of pulling this thing, and I feel like it's intentional. It's not something that's accidental. It's not something that's like, oops, my bad, because they've been doing it here for at least the last 30, 40 years in my book. Since the world is changing, so are they. They're kind of acclimating with the world and how everybody else is trying to make a quick buck, so they are too. And I feel with Jedi Survivor, it's kind of a need where a company wanted to make a good game, EA wanted to ship a game quick. I believe there might have been some development hell there. Big company like Hasbro, my experience with Hasbro is pretty much the same thing. They own a lot of shit. They want to get some shit out there now. You know, they own a lot of, like what Jacer was saying, they own a lot of brands and or licenses. So, you know, whether the actual company that makes those brands and licenses actually makes something good, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter unless the people at the top actually work with them to make it good. And finally, at the end of the day, with the Star Wars franchise as a whole, whether you love it or hate it, it's pretty much here to stay. So I would say it's kind of a big thing. Ooh, we do have a message here. Chaser posted a lot of, oh my god, Hasbro subsidiaries. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, they did own Pokemon, didn't they? Back in, oh fuck, dude. Yeah, you're not getting that out of you. Everybody at least owns something Hasbro related. Whether it's old or new. It wouldn't fit. No, it's all good, man. As a result of its component brands, just Parker Brothers, Waddington's, Milton Bradley, Wizards of the Coast, Avalon Hill, and others. Jeez, I don't know how that's not too much. That's too big of a company. I would want to stay away from that. That's a lot of fucking shit. Just the fact that they own way too much. And just that's on a scary level. Like I said, it's like one of those things where what if your favorite fast food place was owned by McDonald's? It's like, let me change that. Look at a lot of candy bars and know that they're owned by Mars or something like that. So they're not their own candy bar or their own candy. They're just owned by the same people that make Hershey's or some shit like that. It's really weird. They can't compete with themselves. They're just making candy. It's the same thing with Coke and Pepsi and shit like that. And it's stupid because it just really does eliminate competition without eliminating competition. It is the worst form of capitalism out there that there is. Because I like to think there's different forms of that, but it's taking advantage of our system in the worst way. So it kind of makes me sick to my stomach. Well, yeah, the whole list of Hasbro stuff is in my Discord. But thanks, Chaser. I appreciate that. I am just reiterating my point here. It's fucking sad. On a huge level. Competition is Konami, Mattel, Lego, Bandai, and Namco, but they don't. Okay. But they all make specific. I guess you could consider them, competitors, right? But they don't own nearly enough of what they have. And Konami's more for gambling and stuff, isn't it? They don't make any board games or anything anymore, do they? It's freaky. It's still freaky. I'm just gonna say it's still freaky. And I wouldn't trust Konami with anything, by the way, at all. Konami's the worst. Yeah, so going back to game companies that I don't. Nintendo and Disney? Well, yeah, but okay. So just because you make a small amount of toys doesn't mean that you're a competitor, right? I guess it does, right? That's it. I guess that's a thing. Because you could make a very small amount of toys and still consider yourself a big competitor in the market. Well, anyway, between Konami, EA, Ubisoft, we're going with almost Bethesda at this point. It's hard to monopolize all forms of games. Yeah, but they got a big fucking hand in it, though. I don't think Hasbro does much for video games. They have had their hand in video games, but they got a giant fucking hand in it. Oh. Oh, my nose is starting to bother me now. So I wouldn't say I'm completely out of Bethesda just yet, but getting there. A lot of AAA companies I've X'd off the market. I would recommend that if you haven't, that you start. Just for the fact, at least temporarily. Like, if you don't feel like completely Xing a AAA company out of your life, that you at least temporarily do. I don't feel like buying anything from EA ever anymore. And if that means like not buying another Star Wars game for a very long time, so be it. I don't feel like paying $70 to be pooped on. Like it's literally how it feels. Like, and like some people have literally told me, well, that's just how it is nowadays. Okay, but if like they make a law that says, hey, are you gonna get punched in the face multiple times every day, and you get to pay somebody $10 to do it, or to punch you less in the face, and that's the law, like, are you gonna take that? Like, no. I would say something about that. I would fight that. That's physical pain. This is like mental pain. This is anguish. This hurts. Spending $70 on something that doesn't work hurts. And I feel really bad for people that just give up and say, well, I didn't have that much of a problem. It's okay. Like, no. It doesn't matter how much you have. Like, and I feel like those are the people that have lots and lots of money. And they have huge fucking systems. And they don't care. So, I'm just going to say, hey, look. For the people that work really hard for the little that they have, they deserve to at least pay the $70 and get a working title. So, and that's the least of what we should be asking for. So, and I think that goes for everything product-wise. It at least should work. And not be like a diamond in a pile of shit. So that's my say tonight. I'm out. If you want to find some more RantCast, there is saved RantCasts here, or you can go to the RantCast Podcast. It's on YouTube. They have the archives, including our old RantCast before the rebranding. Find it there, and all the crap we've talked about. So. If you have a topic you want to talk about for the next RantCast, or if you want to become a guest, you can once again find us on our Discord. That's either the HeroQuest fans Discord or the bus of Discord. And God, my sinuses. Excuse me. You can hit us up there and let us know so we can fit you in the time slot. Besides that, I hope everybody takes really good care of themselves. Mental health, everything. Zelda Monopoly. Ugh. Bro. Anyway, hope that everybody takes really good care of themselves. Your mental health is what's important. You yourself are what's important, because at the end of the day, if you don't like yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, who's gonna? See you guys on the next RantCast. Take care, everybody.